Well, thank you all so very much for being here. I'm Kevin McCarthy. I'll give you a little. I know what most of you are thinking. Most speakers make it on the first round, right? Took me 15, but it takes you a while to get it right, okay? That's the way I kind of look at government and what you're all doing today. Every day I wake up, and one of the things that when I became speaker, I thought, everything doesn't have to be partisan. And one of the things we've done very well together is Steny Hoyer started this with Eric Cantor. We continued on, and Hakeem, Democratic leader, is going to be here too. And one thing Hakeem and I have been working on too is how do we improve government? How do we make it more efficient, more effective, and more accountable? And with technology today, it could do great things in our life, and it could be disruptive in our life, right? But one of the things I thought about is, I think this every morning, constant improvement. How do we improve each and every time? And I don't believe government's going to be able to do this by themselves. And if we're of the people, by the people, for the people, we should have the people all engage in it at the same time. That's why I'm very thankful that you're willing to participate. And you know, there's been successes. I want to give you a small example, because I want you to think about this, but then I want you to think in a broader, bigger picture. Because think about when we first started this, people really weren't talking about AI. What can AI do today, right? I mean, I look at AI from a perspective that I'm doing a pilot program to fight forest fires. That we could pre-position Black Hawk helicopters when a storm's coming for a lightning in a forest and put the fire out quickly before we let it just burn to be able to go and all the emissions and everything else. About curing cancer and others. But think about all the data that government has. Well, where's the way that we could take the AI, utilize the data, and provide it to the public in a different way, in a different manner? But when I first became a member, and someone would call your office, it happens to every single member, regardless whether you live on the East Coast, West Coast, Middle America, doesn't matter what party you're in, and they have a problem with the federal government, you want to help them. But when they call you, sometimes it's at the last moment, sometimes it's a desire and they're frustrated. You know what I have to tell them? I'm going to get right on that, but I have to mail you a form that you have to sign and then mail back for me, and then I can begin on this. You know what that sounds like to the constituent? It's like you really don't care very much. So you know what we worked really hard to finally create? Just an e-signature. We do it with every package that comes to our door, or anything else, or where we sign every day. Why was government so slow on the paper? And by doing e-signature, when somebody calls us, you could help them right away working with the agencies and others, right? And then we had another congressman, he'd retired now, but he worked with our team to be able to do public reporting on vulnerabilities. People could go look at where are the vulnerabilities, one from our data or anything else, and we should welcome that to help solve any vulnerabilities so it's not there in the future. So I want you all to think really critically and from a different point of view. I mean, the thing that frustrates me is if you're in town today and you want to take an Uber or a Lyft, you just pick up your app, you hit it, you know when someone's coming, you rate the driver, you can pay on that and everything else. Good service, right? Comes closer to you. Why couldn't our vets make a doctor's appointment that way? Rate their doctor. Why couldn't anyone in any government agency that a constituent needs to go to, why couldn't they have an app to do that as well? Fill out the form. Maybe they don't have to go in and stand in line in a long time. Maybe they can rate their service. Some people in government may think that, but I would think that's great feedback. I think from a perspective too, we should be able to create an app within our own offices for every constituent that comes in. Let me know how the service, maybe you just want to buy a flag, maybe you got to get a passport, maybe you have an IRS. If I firmly believe in constant improvement, let me know what that is. And with that data, what can we take to improve and make it happen in a more efficient and accountable way? So I'm looking for vulnerabilities, I'm looking for others, but now in the whole world of AI, they continue to learn in others. I know a lot of people are afraid of AI. I'm a constant optimist. I look at it from a different point of view. Yeah, I understand the fear, what can be, and we can build and make sure we can protect that. But I also want to understand the opportunity of what we can do. And I don't want to see things that are only happening in the private sector, because all the interaction we have in government, if we could become more efficient, that means we can utilize resources in a more appropriate and better way. If we become more accountable, we get greater respect for ourselves and the work everybody's doing. If we give better service to individuals, that's what they want. Too often in our country, we want to point out the negative, then look at the positive, right? Remember in graduate school, have you ever done that, the SWOT analysis? A strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. You ever wonder why they start with the strength? You want to know where you currently are. I mean, think about it for one moment. We're the strongest economy in the world. Regardless of what we'll argue about healthcare, we still have the best healthcare in the world. We're frustrated with our education system, but still people want to come from around the world to come and get educated in America, right? We have the strongest military in the world, and it's all volunteer, provides security. And then you go to weaknesses, and lots of times people just start with the weaknesses. I look at a weakness we put, our vulnerabilities, but I just view them as opportunities. And today I view as a very big opportunity. And if we do it right, we won't have anything in our threats, right? So I hope you feel very welcoming that we want your opinion, we want your ideas, but I hope you feel from a perspective as a citizen to America, you're making a contribution. I want you to walk away excited, but I want this to be your only day. I want it to grow day in and day out. That's why we come back. And the one thing, you'll read a lot about government everywhere you do, this has no partisanship whatsoever. You're going to get a video from Steny Hoyer, who's been a part of this from the very beginning. He's up with the president, so he's getting video. Later, you'll have the Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, as this is his first year he's become leader. We asked him early on to be a part of it. We will take your ideas and apply it. We've showed it each time. But just like how AI grows faster, I want the solutions to grow faster here as well. There's no wrong idea. There's no wrong question. Most of the times, the crazy ones turn out to be the best, right? I want you to be the disruptor. I want you to question. Look, whether you like him or not, I think Elon Musk has an amazing mind, right? I was with him the other day, and there's this new book out about him, and he doesn't get any money from the book. He just let the person walk around him. And Walter Isaacson's a very bright man, wrote a lot of good books. And he wrote this, I was reading this little excerpt from it. He said, the uniqueness of Elon is he questions everything. Just because we've done it that way in the past doesn't mean it's right. Because when they set it up, I don't know if anyone had questioned it. And he said what he was very good at, especially in Tesla, was improving. So the line would already make cars, but how could they take steps away, right? And when you're thinking about from this position, when public's interacting with government, if we took other steps away, I don't want somebody to come to interact with government and to be so frustrated because they have to go through so many different steps before they can get the solution they need. Then they say, oh, forget it. I want them to walk in and have a great experience and go tell 10 other people. Then we're bonding in a much stronger place as a nation. What would be great is everybody else looks at, this is the way you make things happen. So, if I haven't thanked you, thank you for being a part of this. I want to challenge you. I want to encourage you. I want you to think outside the box. And the first thing I've always learned is get people who are brighter than you around. Now I got a whole room of you, so I expect big things to happen to come out of here, and I appreciate you spending time. And I don't want to be this the only moment during the year we do it, and I wanted us to grow and follow through with it as where we go. Am I introducing Steny video? Oh, he doesn't give me any role, right? So thank you all, but one of the big drivers of this is Chris Bien. He comes from Northern California, so I think it's embedded in him on all this, but he's been very helpful in making sure government is much more open and efficient, so he's a good guy. Thank you all.